Tucked away on a busy side street in Kakaako is a World War II museum unlike any you've ever seen before. But you can only visit it as part of a tour, which was the owner's solution to a business problem. Here's the story behind the Home of the Brave Victory Tour and the new Brewseum they're building next door.
My name is Glenn Tomlinson. This is my lovely wife, Janet. We started this company, Home of the Brave, back in 1991 in conjunction with the 50th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor and surrounding military bases. We had 6,000 Pearl Harbor survivors in town for the 50th commemoration, who we took back to some of these other installations along with Pearl Harbor, attacked on that date of infamy, and it was such a hit. Supposed to be a one-shot deal. They said, hey, we're going to bring our grandkids back. We've been operating ever since. And the museum that you see here is one of the largest collections and most unique collection in the Pacific. I like to say in the world, because everything has been donated by veterans and their families who've come through over the past 21 years or so. So it really is a special place, highlighting and really honoring our World War II veterans. The museum was actually started almost as an afterthought. After we started the tour program, we would bring people by. We just had this front room, this tiny place that we rented out from our landlord. And as World War II veterans would come in, they donate their uniforms, their hats, their patches, and all of a sudden our little gift shop turned into a museum. So I kept bugging the landlord, we need more space, as we brought in our 1945 Ford Jeep. It was actually brought over for the VJ Day commemoration for Bob Hope. He was the Grand Marshal at the time. So we brought the Jeep over, and then we got the 42 Harley also in the back. And then I would say in the last 2 to 3 years, the collection has really exploded, because sadly, as a lot of these World War II veterans, which by the way, we've brought literally thousands of World War II veterans and their families through the tour experience as well as through the museum. Sadly, as they pass away, we'll get a call from the kids. They'll say, hey, Dad or Grandpa loved what you do to honor World War II veterans. He wanted you to have his uniform. That we just got a Japanese rifle that was brought back from Okinawa at the end of World War II, donated by the son of one of the fathers that had come on the tour. So that's how the collection continues to expand, and it really is a living, breathing museum, constantly changing. We want it to be a hands-on. Most of the things that you see around the museum, most people say, wow, everything is normally behind glass or behind the ropes. We want the kids to be able to jump in the Jeep, hop on the Harley, so it is a touchy-feely museum where you get the full flavor of what it was like really in the 1940s. Most every American has a tie to World War II. Growing up, I used to hear the stories from my uncle, who was a Special Forces officer in the Pacific. He was fairly quiet about exactly what took place in the Pacific in his particular unit. My grandfather was a merchant marine in the Atlantic and Pacific as well. Her dad, Janet's dad, was a tanker. He drove a tank in Luzon, in the Battle of Luzon in the Philippines. And her mom, who was a short little gal, worked at Boeing Aircraft as one of the original Rosie the Riveters. Because she was short, they had her in the nose cone bucking rivets for the B-17 bombers. One of the main challenges that we have is parking. That's why you see the Jeep inside the museum. For the past 20 years, as the collection continued to grow, our parking didn't grow. So what we've done is we've made this our last stop on our tour program. It's the favorite stop of the day. Our Home of the Brave tour program is really the only way you can visit the museum. It's an early start in Waikiki. They visit Pearl Harbor, Wheeler, Schofield, Fort Shafter. It's almost like a time warp going back in the 1940s. And then we drop the folks off here as the last stop, where they can hop in the Jeep, hop on the cycle, enjoy an ice cold Coca-Cola and the Weeky Wacky Woo Bar upstairs. The best way to visit our Home of the Brave Museum is to book a tour. You can check us out at www.homeofthebravetours.com. But before you do, let's take a walk next door and I'll show you the latest project. So this is our next big project. It's called Home of the Brave Brewseum. It's going to be a place where folks can come in and see some of our collection. We have a train that goes around the Brewseum just like next door in the museum. And we're going to have Admiral Nimitz Jeep, where people can hop in, have a beer, and actually sit in the Jeep and then enjoy an ice cold brew. It's a microbrew. Will be brewed here in a small brew system. We hope to start our evening tour called Night at the Brewseum sometime in the next few months, where we'll bring folks through a slow crawl through downtown Honolulu, historical tour, and then they'll end up here in the beer hall to sample our beers and catered food.